So in this particular topic, we will cover security management plan, security policies, categories of security policies, policies, procedures, guidelines, and baselines. The next topic is agreement type. So first one is security management plan. What is that? Security management plan, it is the identification of organization assets like building, people, machines, followed by the development, documentation, and implementation policies and procedures to protect those assets. Security management plan consists of policies, procedures, guidelines, baselines, and documentations. Characteristics. Senior management, one of the component of security management plan is policies, which is a high level document which describes what management want in regards to security. So the senior management is responsible for initiating and defining the policies. Then once the policies is being defined, which is a high level document about the security, then the mid level management is responsible for developing standards, guidelines, baselines in relation to that policies. And then operation management people, they define the controls in accordance to that policies and guidelines. And end users, they must comply with all the functions of the organization. Everyone means you should have approval from senior management before we start to engage on this security management plan. Approaches to security management plan, bottom up and top down. In most of the cases, I would say 90 to 95% of the cases, I would say we follow the top down approach, in which management at the top defines the security policies, which is then systematically percolated to the below layers properly. So a management at the top defines the security policy, which is systematically percolated to operation staff. This is more successful as compared to the bottom approach because everything is driven from top, and you see people, when you see things coming from the top, definitely you will abide by that. But in 5 to 10% of the cases, yes, you require the bottom-up policies also. Bottom-up policies, which is being derived as a result of risk assessment by the operational people on the ground. I'll give you one example here. Around 6 months ago, one of my team members, he was upgrading one ASM box, application security module box, which is F5 ASM. That is a kind of a web application firewall. He encountered some issues. So he opened a case with OEM 5. F5 asked him to upload the configuration on F5 website so that they can look into that. So he uploaded it. And we sent an email to the management, to the stakeholders, that we encountered an error and we uploaded the configuration. So all of a sudden, I got a message from my security contract lead. Hey Ajit, did you sanitize that configuration before you upload it to the OEM portal? Because the configuration F5 boxes, normally they do have, it is being used for SSL offloading. So they may have the private keys, which if it get compromised, can be a problem. So I think so what immediately I contacted my engineer. He told me we don't have, that was an ASM box. It was not used for any SSL offloading. So that gave me a sigh of relief that, okay, we got saved. Otherwise, we would have to ask the certificate authority. We would have to contact the certificate authority to revoke the certificate because private key was compromised and all that stuff. So it was a lengthier process. But anyhow, and we had to give an answer to that. So that gave me a sigh of relief that, okay, we were saved. But I thought that this could happen next time also. I immediately contacted my boss, asked him to set up a policies, to set up a guidelines, and percolate it to the people so that they should do all this sanitized check before they uploaded the configuration. So this is a perfect example of, I would say, a bottom-up policies. Got it, sir? So there are 3 types of plans. I told you the security plans, although they can be divided on how they are being driven, top to bottom or bottom up. There again, and on the basis of duration, it is being categorized into 3 types: strategic plan, tactical plan, and operational plan. So senior management is the one which is responsible for strategic plan. Mid-level management is responsible for tactical plan, and implementation team, or the lower level people, operational people, they are responsible for your implementation plan. Strategic plan. So I give you 2 examples here to explain you the strategic plan. So I used to work in one company, okay, that was an educational tourism company. That was company A, you assume. That company A wants to double its revenue from 100 crores to 200 crores That was 2008, I would say. So that is 100 crores to 200 crores is another 5 years. So that is what? That is a strategic plan. Strategic plan is a plan which is valid for minimum 3 to 5 years. It is more related to business. A long-term plan defines the goals of entire organization as a whole in mind. Useful for at least 5 years, reviewed annually. Lot more times you would be asked questions in the interview that where would you see 5 years down the line? That is what a strategic plan of yours. Now another example, mine related to my life. If you are to ask me what is my strategic plan, I want it to be free from corporate world, be working as a independent freelance, not trainer only, freelance independent security consultant. That is my strategic plan. Okay, so we have seen two examples of the company A in which I used to work. They have a strategic plan of doubling their revenues, and I have a strategic plan of becoming an independent freelance independent training consultant, not training, the security consultant. Now comes to the tactical plan. Tactical plans are of 1 to 2 years, which is there to minimum, I would say 1 year only, 1 to 2 years they say, which is to support a strategic plan. They are midterm plans which provides more detailed goals. This is usually for a year or a two and more technological oriented. For example, project plans, acquisitions, budget, hiring, etc. Now, that two companies, that two examples that I've given it to you earlier, the company A, how would they double their revenues? They have to increase their mode of learning. Earlier, they were only into classroom, offline, offshore classroom training. They decided to look out for different options of increasing their mode of learning, like on-site trainings, I would say online trainings. So this is mode of trainings, increased mode of training, that is tactical plan. They were only offices, they were only having offices in northern part of India. So they decided to look out for different other options, the tactical locations, other locations in India, in southern part of India, or even out of India. So they decided to go for that. So they look out. So these are the two tactical plans which they thought of: increasing the mode of learning, increases the courses. That is the second one. Third one, the tactical plan increases the locations. Now coming back to mine. So these are some tactical plans which they decided to take care to decide to pursue in order to support their strategic plan of doubling their revenues. If you were to ask me, my strategic plan is already becoming an strategic, independent, freelance security professional. I don't want it to be a CISO and all. CISO and all, I have seen that because I've already seen the top level positions where people are reporting, managers were reporting under me. At the top level, you don't do anything except managing the expectations of your stakeholders, doing politics, doing PPT, managing client visits. Apart from that, you don't do anything productive, which I think of. This is my views again, please. Nothing to do with anyone. This is my experience. Your experience would have been differ from me, but this is my one. So if I already have good understanding on defensive management portfolios, that is the reason I've done CISSP, CISA, CRIS, CISL, CompShare Security Plus. They all belongs to your defensive management portfolio. So that I've done it. So I wanted to increase my portfolios. So one is a training portfolio I will think about. So I would be working on cloud portfolio, the training, tactical plan of increasing my training courses that I offer. The second one is I wanted to pursue on my another skill apart from training and management. That is, I would say, audit skills. That is another tactical plan, that how to look and develop that auditing plan also. Third one is the offensive security. I wanted to be a hacker. That is another field which can help me in becoming a freelance independent professional. So one is training, tactical. Another one is audit, another tactical field, which will take. Third one is offensive security. Now, the third one, which is operational, which is of short duration of 1 to 2 months or maximum 3 months. And they're very detailed plan. This is more project related plans, I would say. Just like I have that company A, one tactical plan they have is to increase their mode of learning. One mode of learning they wanted to introduce is online LVCs. So what product they will choose, how will they launch those products, what is the technology they require, how will the trainer comes up, and all that. Training the trainer for LVCs, training based, choosing up the platform, how much is the duration they require to launch all those courses online. So that is, I would say, a project which is supporting a tactical plan. So this is more an operational plan. If you talk my example, one is I'm working on increasing my audit portfolio, because audit is also a skill. So that is what I'm doing. So I am working on, I am planning to do ISO 27001, 22301 plus. So how much time? So I will take one certification, okay, 22301. How much time will I take? Which course will I, which screening institute will I be using it? What is the money? So detailed project related plan. So this is how they are correlated, and combinedly we call it a planning horizon. So is it clear that how they are related to each other and what is strategic, tactical, and operational plans of an organization? So there's a term for it which we call the planning horizon. Combinedly, strategic, tactical, and operational plan are called planning horizon. Strategic is about 3 to 5 years. Tactical, which is there to strategic, which is there to support strategic plan, it is a 1 to 2 years. And operational plan, which is more project related, that is, I would say it's about 1 to 3 months, more detailed one. It is being taken care by implementation team. Then you have a security policy. Security policies, this is also a component of security management plan. The security policy is a high-level document that outlines senior management security directive. Okay, what management wants regarding what they want you to do regarding security. Like all confidential data should be protected. That is a security policy. So it simply says that it is a one-liner statement or maximum two-liner statement which describes simply that what they want you to do with regards to policies. Policies are organizational laws in that they dictate acceptable and unacceptable behavior within the organizations. Security policy is an overall broad statement produced by senior management that dictates the role of security within the organizations. Policies are mandatory in nature. And this is always remember, unlike maybe the processes are different, but all processes of security, whether it's security policy or any documentation of security, whether it's security policy, guideline, procedures, or even any process like BCP, risk analysis, it has to be reviewed and done periodically. In an audit, whenever we go for an audit, okay, we review the document. You won't imagine, we don't look at the context of or even content of a document. What we are majorly looking at, because it's not possible for us as an auditor to look into content of each and every document. What we are more focused on, when was this document created, when was it reviewed, whether it is being reviewed at a regular interval or not. So that is what we look at, whether it has a proper classification markings or not, whether it's reviewed regularly or not. So that is the thing we do. So all processes of security, whether it's or document of security, they are periodic in nature. It has to be conducted periodically in nature. Security policy, it should be a very generic, non-technical, and easy understandable document developed to integrate security in all business functions and processes, reviewed regularly or whenever the company changes. So I remember in 2020, it means 13, when I was audited, where I was going through an internal audit of an ISO 27001. Auditor gives me one observation that, okay, yes, your security policies are being changed regularly. We do see that as we have seen the evidence, but whenever the security policy changes, you people are not notified about the security policy changes. So we got that thing implemented, and after that, whenever the security policy changes, I used to get an email so that I can, as a head, I used to get an email, and I used to disseminate that information to my people so that they can review what have been changed. So this has to be reviewed and modified whenever the company changes, or it needs to be reviewed periodically. It must support the vision and mission of an organization. The security policies, first you need to understand the business objectives, then what are the risks and threats your organization is having, define the policies, implement it, enforce it, review it, and then, so this is a cyclic process. It's not a one-time activity. Categories of security policy. Security policies can be categorized as per regulatory, ensure that the organization following standard policies which is being derived from regulatory requirement of an organization, like the policies driven by HIPAA, SOX, PCI DSS. Advisory policies strongly advises employees regarding which type of behaviors and activity should and should not take place within the organization. Like I remember one instance in my organization in a bank, means there were two employees which were supporting one account, which was a bank. So that account has a policy, that all confidential data, which includes the configuration of a file, configuration of a device comes under confidential data. So you should not be uploading, or whenever you should not be sharing it with anyone outside. If you're sharing it, please do it in an encrypted format. They encrypt, they upload it, the configuration in a clear text format on a open FTP server of that OEM website. They looked into the DLP logs, they find it out. Those two people were fired because of that. So in advisory policy, they simply define what or what should not be done between what should or should not be done by an employee in the organization. If they find out that there is any violation of that, and yes, there are possible ramifications to it. A person may lose a job or he may get a warning. Then you have informative policy. This is just for an information purpose. There is no one lose a job. There is no things against it. It's just a person. It's just to inform people about mission statement or how the organization interacts. That is all regulatory, advisory, and informative. And types of security policies. Different security policies work together. So this is on how they are implemented. So different security policies work together to meet the objectives of comprehensive security program. Organization security policy, which is applicable to the organization as a whole, and it is relevant to every aspects of an organization. Just like every person in an organization, they should be authenticated, they should be authorized before they test the systems and all. So this is applicable to the organization as a whole. Then you have issue-specific policy, which is specific to certain issues like acceptable use policies, email policies, which privacy would all be covered under issue-specific. And then you have a system-specific policies which focus on individual systems or type of systems, prescribe approved hardware and software, outlines method for locking down a system. So just like there are Citrix systems in your organization, how they should be accessed, how they should be protected, how the backup should be taken. So they are specific to systems. Policy chart, this is pretty important. At the top, you have a laws and regulations. The policies can be of different types. So the top level preference, the first preference should always be given to the policies which is being derived from laws, regulations, and requirements. Then you have a general organization policies, the policies which are applicable to the organization as a whole. Then you have a functional specific or system specific policies, and then comes your standards, guidelines, procedures, and baselines. In a hierarchy, the procedure comes last. This comes lowest in the hierarchy. So standards, what are standards? Standard refers to the mandatory activities, rule, actions, or regulations. In defined compulsory requirement. Standards are statements that specify what shall be used to support security policies and guidelines. If I say all confidential data should be protected, how it should be protected is being given by a standard. That all confidential data which is in data at rest form should be protected with AES standard, and all confidential data in transit should be protected with IPsec or SSL. So policy describe what should be done, policy describe what should be done, and standard defines how it should be done. Then you have guidelines. Guidelines refers to discretionary activity or recommended operational guides or actions to users, operation, IT staff, and so on. Just like I've given you a guidelines about the exams, you should spend at least 3 to 4 months or 5 months. You should not rush, use this practice test. What are those? That are guidelines. I've not made it mandatory for you to follow. If I made it mandatory for you to follow, okay, just like in schools, there are exams, you don't have a choices. You have to take it on that particular day, which people and teachers have said. What are those? Those are an example of standards. Guidelines means which is not discretionary in nature, Up to you whether you follow it or not. Just like password setup guidelines, security password guidelines. So as per guidelines, they say you should have 8 to 10 character password. It should be changed after 2 to 3 months. If they have not made it mandatory, it is just guidelines. Okay, up to you. I say that, okay, set up a password of 8 to 10 characters. But you say, no, I'm not interested. I will only set up a password of 4 characters because I've not implemented in a system. If it is implemented in a password management system, yes, you have to set up a password of 8 to 10 characters, then it will become standard. But if it is not implemented in system, it is being set up as a guide to you, whether it's up to you, it's an optional, whether it's up to you, whether you follow it or not, then that would be a discretionary in nature, that is guideline. There was one question in my examination in which they give me 4 options and standard, guideline, procedures, and policies. Which one out of these is mandatory in nature? Which one out of these is discretionary in nature? Means it's up to you whether you follow it or not. Yes, it was there in my exam. So that is, I would say, guidelines. Guidelines are discretionary in nature. It's up to you whether you follow it or not. It's not a mandatory statement. Procedures are step-by-step instructions. that you have to follow in order to do some tasks. This comes lowest in the hierarchy. What does it mean? It's like I have to upgrade a firewall. Customer asks me to give me the step-by-step instruction that you will follow in order to upgrade a firewall. That is what are procedures. You are upgrading, you are performing some task, okay? And I will write step-by-step instructions for performing that task. So that is all I would call as a procedure. Procedure come lowest in the hierarchy, and these are very detailed instructions. So refers to a step-by-step task to be performed to achieve a certain objective. Final element of a formalized security policy structure, system and software specific examples, incident response procedure or software, just like you're upgrading some application, what are the steps you will perform, that is all comes under procedure. Then baseline defines the minimum level of security that every system should meet. It is system specific. Baselines are uniform ways of implementing a safeguard. Just like you create a, in my organization, we have a baseline image of Windows 10 system. All people operating all systems will be uploaded with that Windows 10 image only. So that is what? That is the baseline which is being defined. So baselines are discretionary again, refers to a stage or state that is used as a comparison for future safe. So just like with the help of you have created one baseline image with the help of Active Directories. You have enforces the group policies. You have enforces the group policy which you defined as a baseline in all the systems. And after certain regular interval, the Active Directory will check whether all the systems which is having that baseline enforced. If they find any anomaly, they will again reinforce that. So remember, discretionary means guidelines and baselines. They're discretionary in nature. Standards, procedures, and policies, they are mandatory in nature.